holding back all entrance into Mexico and denying them the access to asylum, to claim asylum. They're going to have asylum, they have to do it in Mexico. And that was in place. It resulted in a dramatic decline in border entries to about in the 30,000 a month range. We're in 240,000 a month now, just to give you an idea. But Biden inherited Title 42, but immediately opened up massive exemptions in it on day one of the administration. That's what caused this mass migration crisis, but they were still doing a lot of pushbacks too, up until they decided to do away with it in April. In May of this year, there was court action that delayed it, so it's still technically in place, but only about 35% are being pushed back under it today. So 65% are still getting in, being allowed in under this humanitarian parole. A judge has ruled finally that it must die. So on December 21st, the final vestige of the rump Title 42, which was the only speed bump really to completely unimpeded mass migration, is going to go away. And the intelligence community back in April, May, when this was first floated, estimated that between 12,000 and 18,000 a day could be expected to cross after Title 42 ended. And just to give you an idea, we're at about 7,000, 7,500 a day right now, which is already an unmitigated, smashed every record on the books. So you can imagine what even 12,000, the lower end of this, is going to look like. So the administration is hastily, bringing forth resources and volunteers and airplanes and buses and equipment and building soft-sided facilities, and they're really trying to expand the superhighway into the country so that there's no buildup along the border. Their goal for managing this thing is not to stop people or deter people or ask people to stay home. It's to get them in as fast as possible so that you don't see a terrible political blight under a bridge down there with thousands of people all jammed up, that sort of thing. That's what's happening. The government is rapidly trying to, prepare the superhighway.
Well, he's also preparing it by wanting to remove air marshals from flights all across the nation that come down and work the border.
Oh yeah, that's just one tiny part of it. They are begging and pleading and offering incentives and trying to get people to come down, federal officers of every stripe and every agency to come down here and man the superhighway, get the turnstiles, man the turnstiles. But you should know that this is all, turnstiles all go in one way. There's no, once you're through the turnstiles, you're just in. And their idea is, to get as many people in as they possibly can in as short a time as they can, not to deter. Nobody ever talks about deportation, what they're doing to, that they're going to start deporting people or detaining people or anything that would make somebody not want to come.
Well, no, they're not. And at the same time, we've got the likes of Chuck Schumer calling for a massive amnesty to take place. I played the audio clip before you came on where he is talking about that we're not reproducing enough, we need more workers, and however many millions are out there, we need to bring them in. And many are wondering, are we facing the potential for a massive amnesty to be passed during this lame duck session?
Yes, we are. And I just want to point out that, I spent a lot of time with immigrants the last couple of years. I don't know, I've probably interviewed thousands of them on the trail before lawyers could get to them and tell them what not to say.
Right.
So I kind of know how they think. And they pay very, very close attention to our media. Their relatives inside the United States also do. And when, Chuck Schumer and American political leaders talk about things like amnesty, and they propose, 2 million DACA amnesty and, work authorization for everybody, it makes them come. It makes them mount their journeys and lay down their smuggling money and pull up stakes because they want to get here in time to catch this. Because it's unprecedented. All of this is just unprecedented in their lifetimes. They've never had anything like this. So I never met a migrant who didn't have a modern cell phone. It's fully connected to the internet and social media. And the ones that are getting in are taking selfies with their thumbs up and sending it back to the home village and with the great news about what's happening and all the stuff they're getting. And that's what causes mass migration. People like Chuck Schumer and Biden and Mayorkas and everybody else starts talking about this sort of policy. It just fuels the surge. It directly fuels the surge.
Our phone number to Crosstalk today, 800-733-9829. Listeners, if you've got a question you'd like to ask of our guest or a brief comment, some of you are living right now in Texas, in Arizona, in New Mexico, and you're seeing things happen front and center. Others of you are, this may be news to you as far as what the things we're talking about on the program today, how bad things are and about to get far worse. And if we could also, Todd, just let me bring up the fentanyl issue. I mean, it was just reported that the largest liquid fentanyl drug bust in the U.S. was reported in South Texas. I mean, can we begin to estimate the damage to our nation even over the fentanyl that is crossing the southern border?
Well, I mentioned already that Border Patrol is not on the defensive line anymore. They're in these soft-sided shelter structures processing all the immigrants that they're letting in. So there's nobody out there to interdict. There's a few, sheriff's offices, and Texas Department of Public Safety has troopers surged up against the border, but if it wasn't for them, there'd be nothing. And even that's quite reduced. So of course you're going to have more drugs coming in. I mean, these are the Mexican cartels, man. They